Hello. Hello and welcome to Lead Judges TV. We're back. We've been having a laugh in the background, so I do apologise. Very unprofessional of me. Thank you all for joining us in the chat. Welcome back to the show. We're here to discuss a fantastic result for Arsenal last night. But of course, there's a lot of talking points and a lot of controversy. I'm your host, Dan Potts, and I'm being joined by Lead Judges and Super Kevin Campbell. Thank you all for joining in the chat. And I just got to say, first of all, we're doing some new software and some new platform for StreamYard today. We are no longer on StreamYard, should I say. We're on something called Melon. And that's a perfect name for it. That is a perfect name for it. I'll tell you that right now. Lee, let's come to you, man. Let's get serious, or try to at least. How are you, mate?
Yeah, I'm all right. Thank you very much. We should actually make this stream call it the Oliver. I'll tell you, that's what we want to call it, the Oliver and the Melon. What's going on? I've got pictures coming up left, right and centre, wires all over the shop. I don't know, And listen, before we start, I'm not late. I was here on time. We had to get here early and do all this stream stuff and all that, put it all up. Well, I don't know. But listen, what a great day. What a great week of football that was this week. When it come on, eh? Ching. It was fantastic. Listen, going up to Wolves yesterday, I experienced everything. Snow, sunshine. It was unreal. Got there. God, it was freezing cold. Poxy atmosphere, Wolves, because they put you all along the line. So you can't get a real good atmosphere.
Clever how they do it, though, isn't it?
Clever how they do it. It's very clever, because I'll tell you what, I'm going to say this now, one of the best atmospheres in the Premier League, because they've got the two stands here and they've worked it out very, very well. But it didn't stop the Gunners, did it? It didn't stop the Gunners.
Absolutely, it didn't.
Started off, I thought, done okay. Do you know what's really, I don't know, I know we're going to get into it, but before we get into it, I've got two things to say, right? Before I was going in, every Arsenal fan's going, don't matter about the result today, it's just about getting the win. We've got to get the win, We get the win, and people are then starting going, the performance wasn't great and everything like that. And I don't really get that. To me, it was just about getting the result, getting out of there and getting home. And that was it. And the second point, I actually met Mikel Arteta yesterday, and I'm a Mikel win now. He was absolute class, the guy. You know what I mean? I've got to say that. No, I'm mucking about. What an absolute gentleman, So, he gave me a frosty look. I don't know if he liked me or he didn't like. Do you know what I mean? But ultimately, he took a photo of everybody, talked to supporters and all that. I've got to say, he was absolutely different class, but that doesn't mean to say that I'm loving him. He's got to get results. But yesterday, I thought he'd done everything right. Yesterday, the substitution to take Saka off. There was a few people moaning about it. I'm going to say that in the stands, to bring on Holding, brought him on. It was brilliant, and I don't care about the performance yesterday and all that. That was after the results of the couple of days before that. It was all about getting the 3 points. Got the 3 points. Delighted.
Yeah, absolutely. Kev, let's come to you about it, because there's a lot of talking points, but I just want to get a bit of an overview about how important that win was, because we spoke, me, you and Lee, about the next 5 games, and we said that they were on paper winnable and stuff like that. But this was the one that I did look at and thought it was probably the toughest one. So a lot of people predicting a draw, a lot of people predicting a loss. Not many that I spoke to thought we'd get 3 points. So this is a massive win, mate, isn't it?
Huge win, Dan. And thanks for having me on.
Always welcome.
One thing I will say about this result: we haven't played for 3 weeks. We've been away, warm weather training, and sometimes that could be a nightmare because you're just not match ready. They've played in the FA Cup. They've been playing games, so they should have been more ready than us. And the fact of the matter is, it weren't a great performance, but what was it? It was a dogged grind. We had chances, they had chances. But the one chance that we took, we held on to it. Got conspired by a referee. I'm sure we're going to cover that. But do you know what? We lost there last year on the decision of a referee. we got 2 players sent off there last year, but the first one was David Luiz. You remember that one?
Yeah.
Where he got sent
of
off
course
and he
we do.
shouldn't have been sent off, and that really made us really lose our mind. But no, we stuck at our guns. We defended properly. We got across the line. And you know what? When you got 3 points in your back pocket, it's great to see the team enjoy winning there. I'm hearing Ruben Neves come out and say it's like Arsenal won the league or the Champions League. I don't care what Ruben Neves wants to say.
Yeah.
This Arsenal side have got their eyes. They're in a race for that top 4, Dan. And they've got over another hurdle. And if they keep knocking down these hurdles, do you know what? Like I said before, I'll take 5-1 nils in the next 5 games.
Yeah.
I'll take 5-1 nils.
All day long. Business, mate. Results
Yeah.
business, mate. 100% it is. And Lee, I want to come to you before we start going right into the game because there's so much to talk about. I do want to try and break it down properly. I just want to ask you because you were up there, and you know the players at the end. People were saying, "Look, like we're 5 points clear of the title and stuff like that." I'm with Kev. Like it proved last night how important that win was because we finally did what we haven't been able to do for a long time, and that's capitalize on other results. Normally, people look at this one way, and you know, I was speaking to a few people before the game, and they were saying, "Well, if we draw, it won't be so bad because you know others are lost." I don't take that nonsense. We need to be winning every single game, in my opinion, and this is no different. But the difference is we capitalized on Manchester United dropping points and Tottenham losing. And you could feel it in the crowd, you could feel it watching, and you could see it in the players, you know, Ramsdale, Gabriel, Tierney, Ben White, all of them going nuts. That to me, as much as I have question marks over ownership, board and manager, I can't deny the players have bought into this manager. They have. And whether you love that or hate that, that is the truth of it. And the fans and the players, Lee, seem to have a connect now and a telepathy.
Yeah, 100%. Look, listen, Arsenal would never have celebrated that like they did if they won the game 1-0 and kept everybody on the pitch. It was because of the sending off and the way we had to dig in for the last 20 minutes and get the result. I was saying before that sending off at half-time, I said, the only way we lose is if we get someone sent off. And I was thinking it was going to be Xhaka or Partey we're going to get sent off because you could see what Oliver wanted to do it like, you know. Yeah. Did you see the movement in his shorts when he got the yellow cards out as well? Like I'm telling you, like, you know,
he couldn't wait.
He could not wait to do it, like, you know. But we're going to that in a minute. I don't care about celebrating. That was, you know, I was thinking, well, I think like a lot of fans, they're going to nick one right at the end. They're going to nick one right at the end, and they actually defended well and see it out fantastically well. And so from that point, yeah, it was a great. It was great. Don't forget, like on occasions, we've gone down to 10 men. We've capitulated and done. There's a difference about that yesterday, and no one's getting carried away about it and all that. Like I didn't see when me and Steve walked past the coaches, like, you know. And that's where we met Mika. I didn't see the players popping champagne corks or anything like that. They was just getting on the bus, doing their business. But at that moment in time, they celebrated like it win because it was a good, hard-fought battle win. And I don't care what anybody's got to say. I don't care what Neves has got to say. Like, you know what I mean? He wants to do his talking on the pitch, like, you know, because he, you know, if he wants to come to the Arsenal, he's going to have to play a little bit better than that, by the way, like, you know. So for me, it was everything that you want to see from an away performance. Someone said to me yesterday, you know, it's about time we won ugly, scruffy, like, you know, you need to get them through the championship winning sides of all have gone through. You go through it. How many 1-0 scrappy wins are there? And what happens is no one talks about them. They just move on from them. And that's the end of it. And I'm the same, you know what I mean? Get out of there yesterday, 3 points. Not going to go mad about it. You know what I mean? It was important that we got the 3 points. I'll tell you why it was more important we got the 3 points. Forget about what happened with Spurs and forget what happened with Man United. It was about drawing at Burnley at home. We had to make up a bit of a thing there because I tell you what, a couple of weeks ago, if you'd have said you'd beaten Burnley and get a draw at Wolves, you'd probably took that. You know what I mean? But now we got there, we've got the result. So I'm more than happy with that. Now we've got to build on from that. You know, it's no, and I guarantee if we beat Brentford, they won't go mad like that. But that's how it is. You know, we've all played football. We all know what it's like. You know, there's different parts of a game. For me, I love what I see yesterday. People have criticised Ben White. He was absolutely immense last night. You know, people have criticised Holding. He come on there 20 minutes, you know, to go and do what he had to do. You don't see that very, very often. Like, you know, he come on against, I think it was Man City, I can't remember. He gave away an header before, and everybody was criticising him. He's come on there and he's done the business. I'll tell you what, Cedric's got to get a big shout out as well. Like, you know, he come in like and done a good job in there. Like, you know, so and. We was right at the front there. They watered the pitch. It was coming off the greasy surface, and he played well. He done really well. And I can tell you this now, didn't play that well, I didn't think, Partey and Xhaka, but they managed their bookings really well. They didn't get diving into tackles or whatever. Like, listen, 1-0 away from home, you take 10 of them away from home every day of the week. And I'll tell you what, I enjoyed when we lost to Manchester City, we played really, really well. But I tell you what, we didn't play nowhere near as well as we did against Manchester City. But we got what I preferred that win last night than playing like we did against Manchester City and losing. So for me, take it as it is. You know what I mean? We move on and that's it. But listen, what I'm going to say this now. Why can't you enjoy a win? Why can't you enjoy a win? What's wrong with it? Do you know what I mean? Like, it's all doom and gloom when we win. When we lose. When we win, we can't celebrate it. Oh, well, I am. I'm thoroughly enjoying it. Like, it's been a great week. You know what I mean?
It's going to be a great weekend, mate. Don't worry about that.
Again, like, you know what I mean? Like, and the Wolves Tottenham game now. You know, of course we still want Wolves to win, but like at the end of the day, it ain't so. You know, listen, I celebrated that Southampton goal just like I celebrated that goal yesterday. It was a lovely, lovely week. There's nothing better when they lose down the road and we win. Happy days. And I'm going to enjoy it and I'm going to celebrate it. Solid.
Lee, I think you're spot on. And I think, you know, I'll come to you, Kev, about the same thing before we go into the points of the game, because I think that there is a lot of doom and gloom. This whole season, we've seen it up and down, up and down. When we're on an up, we need to enjoy it, because the likelihood is you're going to have a down again in a few weeks. So we got to enjoy these things. What were your thoughts on the game last night, mate?
Yeah, listen, it was a tough game. We hadn't won in a few games. Let's be real. We haven't won in a few games. We've had a terrible January. Here we are. We've been away in Dubai, warm weather training. We haven't played in such a while, and we're going to Wolves. So potential banana skin, I agree with you, Dan. This was a real potential banana skin. We get across the line. We have to dig in. 10 men. But you know what? We prevailed. We come through it. That connection with the fans is there. You could see it. The players are going over, appreciating the fans who've traveled there. I love it. For me, I could see it means something to these players to get them results, to get the 3 points in. Because I know what it's like being on the inside, where you know where you want to get to, and you can't speed time up. But what you got to do is you got to take one game at a time, and you got to chalk them off. Win that one. Obviously, there's extra pressure on the team because Man United dropped points and Spurs lost.
Yeah.
So straight away, all the Arsenal fans are going to be saying, well, please don't mess up. Please capitalize. And that's what the boys done. And the boys had to do it through adversity, yeah. But the fact of the matter is they're willing to put their bodies on the line to do it, Dan. I love that. I love the fact it shows that they care. Some great pictures of Benjamin White and Ramsdale and a few of the boys celebrating. Hey, listen, let me tell you something. These are the games that matter most. It's the ones that you think nothing of it, you win 1-0 and you move on. They're the glue. Because when you're really performing and you're playing well, it's all hunky-dory. But if we're going to do anything and get in that top 4 or even challenge for it, we need a few more of these gritty 1-0.
Dev, can I ask a question and tell the people that are listening to this, like, you know, what as a player, and when you was at the Arsenal, you come out or the finish, a midweek game like that, and you see all those fans there, what sort of feelings you get from that?
Well, the great thing for our side was a bit like the way it was last night. Is you've got that connection. You know people who have travelled to the game, Lee. You know the Gooners are there. It's that SAS style. It's us against all of this. So we're going to have to stick together. So we know we perform on the pitch. The fans will perform in the stand, and we come away with our 3 points, and we're happy. We celebrate. That's what it was all about for as a player. So what are the things you've got to do, Lee? You've got to defend properly when you're away from home.
Yeah.
We done that. You've got to take your chances when they come. We didn't take all our chances, but the one that mattered, we took it. And you've got to be able to adjust if the worst happens. And the worst did happen. Martinelli got sent off, and the team had to adjust. And we adjusted as a team. You can argue whether this one should have come on or that one should have come on. You could argue that. The fact of the matter is we held out. So
100%.
it was a real good 3 points by the Arsenal last night. And you know what? I feel great about it because I'm seeing fight in this team. I'm seeing the togetherness and some fight in this team that wasn't there in previous seasons, guys.
Yeah, listen, I've got to agree with that. And I think that it's funny because I was speaking to the lads last night, and I said, this team seem used to this now. They've done it at Anfield. It was very, very similar the last 20 minutes going down the 10 men. And we'll come on to the red card in a minute. But Kev, I want to stick with you before I come to Lee, because one player who I just don't think ever gets credit where credit's deserved is Gabriel. I think he's probably Mikel Arteta's best signing. And a lot of people would say it's Tomiyasu or Ramsdale. I disagree because Gabriel's been consistent for longer than them two have. I think Gabriel is just one of those underrated players sometimes. I don't know. I'd never hear the mentions. I hear Ben White's a genius and Tomiyasu's so great. Let's not forget how good Gabriel has been for a very, very long, long time. And I was speaking, Kev, to a couple of friends who were saying about team of the seasons and trying to look at defenders, and they were talking about the obvious choices at Manchester City with Laporte and Diaz. Van Dijk always gets a mention, and Rudiger's been good for Chelsea. And then they mentioned Gabriel. And I think when you're being mentioned with names that good, it proves you've had a great season and a great career at Arsenal already in the early days. So what do you make of this kid? Because I love him.
Yeah, Dana, I rate him highly. I think the litmus test for us was when he wasn't there at the start of the season. When he wasn't there at the start of the season, we were all over the shop.
Agreed.
Ben White at the start of the season wasn't Ben White until Gabriel came back. Gabriel came back into the team. Kieran Tierney started performing. Nuno started performing. That back four started looking a lot more solid. We started getting results. Good protection for Ramsdale. He's vocal. He's strong. He's got all the attributes. He's got power. He's got pace. And you know what? He's decent on the ball as well. A lot of people say he's not good on the ball. He's decent on the ball for me.
Yeah.
He doesn't really give the ball away much. Even on his long passing, he's excellent. So for me, I just think on the hybrid squad, I asked a question on Kev Says tonight. I said, which is the one player this Arsenal team can't do without? And I think it's Gabriel.
Yeah.
Because we are a poorer side without him. Think we could get away with Partey, we could get away with Xhaka, we could get away with Bell. But for me, it's that tough man at the back. And he's performing. And he's coming up like a Tony Adams. Not saying he is Tony Adams, but he's coming up in the opposition box with a goal.
Mate, even if he's after player of Tony Adams, we've got ourselves a world-class talent. I do think, Lee, that Kev makes a great point there. Ben White, and the jury's been still out with Ben White. Thought he was exceptional last night. Thought he was exceptional at Anfield. Had a few dodgy games in between that. I'd love to see some consistency, but Kev's spot on. The guy is really good when he's next to Gabriel. And you talk about important players. Tomiyasu and Gabriel, I said we cannot get those two injured because with Cedric and Holding coming in, although be it Cedric played quite well last night and Holding when he came on did, you don't want them two consistently playing for 5 or 6 weeks. So Gabriel and Tomiyasu need to stay fit. I'm with Kev there. I think the guy's been player of the season, in my opinion. A lot of people would say Smith Rowe, Ramsdale, Tomiyasu. I'm going to give it to Gabriel because I've seen the most consistency from him. He does have a little bit of ill discipline at times, and the time wasting yellow card was silly. But actually, when you look at what he's doing, I think he's a colossus at the back, Lee. I really do.
Yeah, and I like a little bit of that. I'm sorry, I know ill discipline and all that. I like it when they go to the line, and he goes to the line. There was a couple of things there. Like before, it was one say, if the referee like Oliver does his job properly, he gives him the foul before he goes down for when he's feigning that injury, sort of thing, like So for me, if Oliver does his job properly, he gives him a foul, but he's pulling and tugging him and all that, But he gets up and does it. I agree with Kevin as well. I think he's a very, very good, accomplished player on the ball as well. He doesn't panic. He goes through the lines. He looks to pass those balls in there as well. And what his best thing is his recovery. If we can push a high line up now, we used to play Mertesacker like that. All of a sudden now, if the ball does go, we can get back quickly. Ben White's no slouch. Tommy Asu's no slouch. So all of a sudden we've got, and it isn't.
We've got legs.
We've got legs in that back four. It's young. Ramsdale is a sweeper keeper as well. So this is a back four that can improve. I think it's 7 clean sheets. Somebody told me earlier on today, if that's correct, which is quite remarkable, really, considering we've conceded, I think it was 9 goals, I think, in our first 3 or 4 goals, 5 at City, wasn't it? I know, I think we conceded 2 against Brentford.
2 against Chelsea, wasn't it?
9 goals. 9 goals in our first 3 games. So,
3 games, yeah.
And as Kevin just emphasised, Gabriel wasn't in those games. Now he's back. Look at the thing. And when you go away from home, sometimes when we went 1-0 up, I was confident yesterday. I know that sounds silly. I was thinking, all right, okay. I did predict that we'd keep a clean sheet there. So I was. I'm a big fan of Gabriel, and he's the second, third player that's come to the Arsenal that I've not really known too much about. No one really can turn around and say, oh, yeah, they knew what Gabriel was like.
Lee,
like that.
Lee, Ramsdale's got, and the Arsenal back four, I've got 11 clean sheets.
11?
11. Joint second with Liverpool. Top are Man City. So that
Definitely
tells you
improved at the back.
what they're doing.
Well, that just shows you. That's just in the league. That's just in the league.
Premier League. Just in the Premier League.
Well, that's incredible. That's incredible. So, and probably Gabriel's been involved in all of them, so that just shows you how well he's done. Listen, Ben White last night, people forget he played right back the game against Burnley. Now he's back into his better position. And I'll tell you what, he definitely enjoyed Dubai, didn't he? He got his shirt off. He wanted to show his tan, didn't he? Big
time.
I'll tell you what, all the girls are going mad. I've seen on Twitter today, Ben White. I'm glad we signed Ben White. You know what I mean? It was like, but I was quite, he weren't too far from me. He's an impressive young man. I tell you, I'm a big fan of his. I think I don't think people understand or I think underestimate £50 million for a central defender, the pressure on them there, you know what I mean? He's not even in the England squad and all that. Realistically, he's there to be shot at. And I think he's doing a fantastic job. I really like him. There was a couple of times, I don't know if you noticed it, he gets the ball and he sprints past the defender.
Surges, doesn't he?
Surges past players and then gets us on the front foot. So I'm a big fan of it. I think he will get better and better. I think I think in his first season, I think in his first season, I think it's good. What I like about that, guys, when you see Gabriel and Ben White, and hopefully Saliba when he comes to it, they're big, powerful units. You know what I mean? And what I see yesterday was he throw the ball in a game. They've done it against Liverpool, throwing the balls in and we're winning our headers and powering away. There was some good defending last night. When I say good defending, it was proper defending. What you expect your centre halves to do? I've been used to centre halves not winning the bloody ball at times in the air, do you know what I mean? But these guys are winning the ball. They're doing the basics of defending properly, and that's what I like, and that's why we're getting clean sheets.
Yeah, no, you're absolutely bang on. And to be fair, Lee, me and you have been guilty of this. We've both criticised Rob Holding throughout most of the season and last season. I thought he was outstanding when he came on. He really was. And I think he deserves a lot of credit also. So great defensive performance. Partey and Xhaka up their game. And I must say, Kev, You know, I said on the Thursday that this was going to be all about domination in midfield. And I felt really worried when they both got the bookings. I thought, oh no, you know, this could be bad news for Arsenal where they've got to try and dominate midfield. I thought both of them actually had a really good game, if I'm honest with you. I know it was a poor yellow card from, well, both of them really, particularly in Granit Xhaka. I don't know what it is with him. He just can't help himself, can he? You know, that Ruben Neves chart, you know, is a good player. That could have gone in and it would have been bad news. And one of them could have got sent off. But actually, they both not just raised their game, but they continued to dominate in midfield. I thought Thomas Partey had a couple of shaky minutes along with Ben White in the first 10. And I think their positioning was a little bit off. But they corrected that and then absolutely dominated, in my opinion. I was really impressed, particularly with Thomas Partey, Kev.
Listen, I think a lot of people look at Thomas Partey and they know what a player he is. But I think a lot of the work that Thomas Partey does, people take it for granted, if I'm honest with you. I think a lot of people do. He does so much work and his little passes where he gets his body in between a midfielder and himself, and then he plays a nice simple pass, which seems simple, but it gives the guy on the ball so much more time to be able to play his pass. So again,
Sophie's clearly not impressed with Thomas Partey here.
No, so listen, Sophie's had a go at Thomas Partey and she got plenty of stick from the squaddies yesterday for saying she expects more from
I get that. I get
and I get that. And to be fair, Dan, you would say we do expect more from him because he's a world-class player. But you know what? Sometimes you can't always be world-class. Against Wolves, we needed him to do a job. And I think him and Xhaka, after getting booked, and you're thinking, oh, this could be dangerous, I thought they stuck to the task of protecting our defense. Wolves are going to get through. We had a man sent off, but we kept a clean sheet and we got over the line. So, you know, fair play. But we do expect more from Thomas Partey because he does have a ceiling and a half.
Yeah, he does. Oh, absolutely, he does.
I'll tell you what also, Dan, quickly. I know Granit Xhaka gets a lot of criticism. He made a header in the first half.
I was just going to mention that, mate. That was outstanding.
That's
a goal. It was a goal written all over it. But people don't see that. That's part of being a midfielder's job. I know, like, you know, you want them to get on the ball and all that. Sometimes it's about digging in and doing a job for the team.
Ugly things.
Yeah. And I'll tell you what, he done that well yesterday. I've got to say that. Fantastic.
You know my thoughts on Granit Xhaka. I looked at that header and I thought, bloody hell, that was good. What annoys me is in the same breath you say, why did he do that? You know, the next minute you're saying, what are you doing that for? And that's what he's like, Granit Xhaka, innit? You know, and I think we've all said enough on that. But I thought they were both really good in parts of the game. Now let's come on to where things weren't so good. Because we've had a lot of positive talk, and rightly so. We've got 3 points. I've got to mention this. Before we go on to the red card, I've got to mention this, right? Lacazette. Now, for everything that he brings to the team, I'll start with you, Kev, because obviously we're talking about strikers, and I'll come to Lee. For everything that he brings to the team in terms of the link-up play, the hold-up play, the fact that a lot of people love that he brings in the youngsters around him, he is so frustrating in front of goal at the moment for me. We saw him miss pretty much an open goal at Burnley. That one-on-one chance last night for me was really disappointing to see him put it that far wide. But Kev, one thing that frustrates me the most is the fact that actually Cedric and Tierney, who I thought was probably the weakest of the back line last night, if I'm honest with you, probably are having not the best of games because they haven't got the opportunity to even cross the ball because nobody's in the box. And when Lacazette was in the box from a great ball from Cedric, he missed the header. And then when he did get his chance, he fluffed his lines. This isn't doing Mikel Arteta any favours at the moment with Lacazette, is it? Because we needed a striker and he's kept Lacazette.
No, it's not. And we do need better production from the front. That's for sure. One thing I will say, just to even this out a little bit, if Lacazette doesn't get across the goalkeeper, Gabriel doesn't score. The keeper just takes the ball. Yeah. So, so that was really important, just from a striker's point of view, to get across and challenge the goalkeeper. The ball pops out, Gabriel sticks it in 1-0. But bread and butter is when you do get these chances, there's a saying, if you don't score, you've got to hit the target. because if you don't hit the target, you can't score.
Yeah.
Laka didn't even hit the target. That's what's going to be frustrating. You know, obviously the ball got whipped in. There was a header where he should have made contact. There was another one where the ball got played to him on a good move down. I think Saka got down the bottom, got cut back, and he hit it, and it went straight into the goalkeeper. You know, just put it low, and you got a better chance. But that one-on-one with the goalkeeper, striker's dream. You just want to be able to hit the corners, and his confidence isn't there. He puts it wide, so. I understand, you know, listen, we're frustrated as Arsenal fans because that goes 2-0. We can cruise. But we need someone to step up in the goal scoring. We do. Martinelli was working hard. Saka was grafting. Lacazette gets the opportunity. Martinelli goes off. Lacazette gets the opportunity. With 10 men, we go 2-0. It's game over. Unfortunately, he's not that player anymore by the looks of things. But, you know, we're going to need him. If he can find his scoring boots, if he can get 5-6 goals before the end of the season, great. But at the moment, you know, we're desperate, aren't we?
Well, we're massively desperate. And Lee, I'll bring you in on this because, you know, I want to get your thoughts on Laka last night. But the biggest thing for me was when he came off, everyone's expecting to see Pepe. And yet again, by no shock of myself, we get to see Eddie Nketiah again. And I've got to mention something from Eddie, which frustrated the life out of me, which proves to me that the guy is so naive and not good enough. With a minute to go,
he
goes to the corner. There's 10 men. He's the only guy up there. No one's in the box, and he crosses it. Please, someone explain to me what he's doing. Right? It is unbelievable.
In his defence, he tried to get a corner, he tried to hit it off their fella, you know what I mean? He couldn't even do that from a yard, so I don't know how he's going to score goals. But that's another story, you know. Listen, I don't understand that. You know, this is the one thing and even the big, we got it in the groups. The Mikel lovers are really all over the top supporting him and all that. Are also saying they can't understand what it is, why he's so much for Eddie, because he come on yesterday. He was a nightmare. He got the ball. He could have run 20, 30 yards and he slipped over, and we was back on the cosh again. You know, could have brought Pepe on, but I look at it and maybe he just thought that it was for pace. You know, just maybe trying to get something over the top because they'd push right on a big old side by the way, by Wolves. Side. So I think that maybe he was looking to maybe get something over the top. I don't know. I can't understand it. The one thing about Lacazette is frustration for me because I looked at that game yesterday. And me and Steve walked out of the game and we looked at each other and said, if we had a top-class striker here, we'd be a really good side. You know what I mean? We'd have won that game 3-0 because I'll tell you this now. He should have got an header in the first half when he went across and he misheaded it, open free header. You know, missed it. The one that Kevin's on about the shot, I wasn't so disappointed about that because, as Kevin said, he got it on target and it was a fantastic move, which he started, by the way, with a little bit of intricate stuff. And we got it in there, Martinelli, and we got the shot off, you know, but he has made the goalkeeper work. And then when you're desperate, you know, you desperately know that you might drop 2 points here or even 3 if they'd have got that goal early, if that goal would have stood, by the way. He has the chance to just kill the game 2-0 and he didn't take it, you know. And the frustration for me was when he hit it, I'm up thinking that, you know, waiting for the net to bulge and he hasn't even hit the target. And that is the key to it, you know. But the fans love him. There's a reason that Arsenal fans love him because of his work rate, his industry, his everything like that. You can't fault him for that. But ultimately, part of his job is to score goals as well, you know. And if he's not going to do that, then we're going to have to look for somebody else in there to do that. And if whether that's a Pepe or a Martinelli or something there, because my biggest problem.
To be honest, do you think Lee Pepe would have scored that chance? And I know we can only talk in hindsight, but I have more faith in Pepe.
I have more faith in Pepe because I think he's a very, very good finisher. I think he's one of the best finishers at the club. You know, I've got no confidence in Lacazette scoring goals like that because it's been happening too often. You know what I mean? It happened at Burnley like this. And listen, I don't know if you noticed yesterday, everybody was celebrating. He wasn't. He knows that
his confidence ain't there. His confidence ain't there.
Yeah, you know, if he'd have scored that goal, we'd have won that 2-0. We'd have been giving it large on the side and all that. So he knows. He knows he's under pressure. I think that he knows that from the likes of Pepe Martinelli. I still think that somehow you've got to get Smith Rowe into this team, because if I'm Smith Rowe now, I'm going to get slightly worried. Like, you know, England games are coming up and the World Cup in the summer. If I'm not going to get into this team, I'm going to get a little bit worried. So there is pressure on Lacazette. He needs a goal. I know this sounds silly, but if he'd have scored that goal yesterday, that would have took him, I think, 10% up and 10% into his game, and that might have been a great thing for us. You know, I want him to score desperately. I want him to score desperately, just for those. We need that now, because if we do, I know it sounds silly and everything, but if he takes his chances yesterday, I thought we had 2 very good chances with the header and that. We come away there 3-0, and people have been turning around and saying, what a great performance. And it wasn't. It was still the same performance, but we took our chances. We have got to take our chances, as simple as that.
We need cutting edge. And that's why we were desperate to get somebody in as a striker.
Yeah.
Weren't we? We were desperate. It didn't happen. But, you know, I just hope this isn't the downfall of the team. You know, we create chances, we don't take it, and then we miss out because of that. You know, that would be poor.
That could be us falling at the last hurdle, Casey. And that was kind of what I wanted to ask you, really. How concerned are you with that? Because we have got a lack of goals, and I can't see where they're going to come from at the moment. It definitely doesn't look they're going to come from Lacazette already. So is Pepe an option? Do we try something else, or do we just stick with Lacazette for now?
Look, I think it's more goals by committee, if I'm honest with you. That's what we've got to do.
Yeah.
I think we've laid our plans now. We are going to rely on our youngsters to get us through. We're hoping Lacazette obviously knits everything together and he could get the odd goal here and there. But if we're honest, the pressure's on Martinelli, Saka, and Smith Rowe to come in and score our goals, because we ain't getting no goals from midfield. That's for sure. If Gabriel or Ben White or any one of those from the back can come up and nick one, hey, great. But the bulk of our goals are going to come from those players. And if a Pepe comes in, obviously Martinelli's out next game, you know, he might get an opportunity to play. You know, they are the guys, they are the youngsters, they're the guys who we have to pin all our hopes on them.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, 100%.
I'll tell you, yesterday, Saka didn't have his best game, but I thought he wasn't quite at it. So, you know, once he gets up and running again, you know, maybe like, I will say this in his defence, every time he gets the ball, there's 2 or 3 players on him, like, you know, and the same with Martinelli. I do feel that, I don't know how Kevin feels, but if we had got that top-class striker in, you can't sort of have 2 or 3 players on Martinelli, 2 or 3 on doubling up on Saka. They're probably saying, oh, well, we know Lacazette ain't got the pace to get in there, so we can...
They have to be more honest.
Exactly.
They have to be more honest, because you know what? I can't help my mate out there because I got my hands full with this guy in here.
So you know I think that we're going to have to look at that situation eventually. I do think he has got to find a solution sooner rather than later. And I think that, if I'll be honest, I think Arteta's probably thinking about it in the back of his mind. It's coming to the fore a little bit, if I'm honest, like, you know. So listen, we've got a great chance of getting top 4.
Lee, I'll tell you this one: if you play Pepe or Martinelli through the middle,
I'm a nice guy,
then you have to service them different.
Yes.
Yeah, 100%.
Right? You have to service them different, and that then brings more onus on our midfield to be able to release these guys, because we've got to be able to use their speed, right?
Yeah, that's a great point. That is a great point.
But that for me is our issue.
Yeah.
Why? Because we played Aubameyang up there and we couldn't release him.
Yeah.
Because we needed Aubameyang to come to feet. We needed him to come to feet to connect everything.
Well, I'm a
So
nice guy.
Martinelli's going to have to come to feet and connect things. Can't just be going over the top. And if Pepe was to play there, he'll have to come into the melee and bodies.
Yeah, and another point. I don't know how you feel about this. I'm a big fan of Odegaard, but he's got to contribute goals. If he's not going to contribute goals, then he's got to be Smith Rowe going into that role. I know that's ruthless because we need to get goals in this team. Now, I'm a big Odegaard. He's neat and tidy in what he does. He had 4 opportunities in that game to have a shot yesterday. 4 opportunities, and he passed the buck as far as I'm concerned. We need to get someone in that midfield getting goals as well. So if he's not going to get goals, then we're going to have to look at that as well. Like, you know, I know he's playing well, but if you're not getting goals from your centre forward, you have got to get it from somewhere. Like, you know,
yeah, it's by committee, isn't it?
Yeah,
someone has to come up. Yeah,
someone has to come up trumps.
100% they do, and I laughed when you said Odegaard because I was saying that not long ago, and everyone was shouting at me, and now people are saying about it again, and I'm just like, come on,
no, I'm just saying about.
Scoring, man.
I think he's playing well. I just think he needs to. He's got to add goals to his game. He's got to add goals.
Yeah. No, I'm with you, mate. I'm with you. And what will be interesting, guys, actually, is now that Martinelli is going to get a ban, Smith Rowe will come in, and it's going to be interesting to see what happens then, because sometimes it takes an injury or a suspension for people to lose their places, and it's healthy competition. I like it. I hate not seeing Smith Rowe in this team, but actually it's good competition for him to be on the bench and coming on. So let's see what happens moving on to that. Let's move on to the red card because it's controversial. It's one that everyone's been talking about all day and all night. Let me have my say on it, and then I'm going to come to yourself first, Kev, and then Lee. I think it was a red card. I think it was 2 yellows. Now, what I haven't done is look into the rule book and look at the crossing of the T's and dotting of the I's of this. But I think they're 2 stupid errors from Martinelli, and I think that they are 2 bookable offences, so to speak, right? Whether Martinelli would have gone in hard like that on a yellow card is up for debate, and it's hindsight, because he didn't know that he was going to go and get a yellow card. So I believe personally that it's 2 yellow cards, which everyone knows makes a red card. So I think there's problems. I'm going to come on to it in a minute about ill discipline. I think there is some issues there. To have 15 red cards under a manager in 2 years is absolute ludicrous. To have 4 in the year of 2022 when we're in February is absolute madness. So something needs to be looked at there. I don't blame Mikel Arteta for Martinelli getting sent off yesterday, but I do blame the manager, because I believe it's his job to try to talk to these players about their lack of discipline. So 15 is madness. If you're having 5 or 6, you might think it happens. 15, I've never known anything like it. The other thing I want to mention, people say this has never happened before. We saw something very similar only 3 weeks ago with Raul Jimenez. He got 2 yellow cards in 25 seconds. The difference with that is he knew he had a yellow card. Yeah, so there's the only difference that I can see is he already knew he had a yellow card, and then he stood right in front of the ball, got the second yellow, and got a red card. So people will say that's completely different, but we have seen Zaha and Raul Jimenez get 2 yellow cards within 25 seconds, like Martinelli did. So it has been done before.
No, Dan, it's not the same.
No.
Where if you're on the pitch playing and you have not been given a yellow card, you see somebody breaking towards your box, and you get your skates on and you chase him down. You think you can foul him. That's what you think. You take one for the team. The fact of them that sorry, go on. No, go on, Dan. No, go on, Dan.
What I was going to say was this, Casey, right? So, and this is what I want to say first of all, by the way, is I absolutely love Gabriel Martinelli, and everyone does know that I love Gabriel Martinelli because I've been calling out to see him, and since he's come into the team, he's changed our attacking way we play, right? So I want to get that in there first, because I've had a lot of people say, "Oh, hating on Martinelli." I love the kid. I could not give the kid enough praise, but I think it's silly. The first thing he does, in my opinion, is just madness. I don't know what he's doing. He's lost his head there, and he's gone with the arm, whatever he's done with the throwing, right? The reason I think Michael Oliver, and listen, I don't like Michael Oliver either, but the reason I think personally what he's done is he's gone play on. It's a foul and it's a yellow card, but play on because you're on the attack. and I'll sort that out later. Martinelli's then gone running and he's gone in and he's like, that's another yellow. So I'm going to have to give you a yellow for over there, which I've already decided in my head's a yellow card. And that's definitely a yellow. Everyone knew the second one was definitely a yellow. So I think he's made the right decision.
By the letter of the law,
by the letter of the law.
You say, right, as it's the letter of the law, I'll go along with that then, right? So
no, but that isn't the letter of the law.
Why in the first 5 minutes, when Martinelli went round there right back and he chopped him down, by the letter of the law, why has he not booked him? Why has he let him off that one? Now, if he can let him off for that, then surely he can just...
Lee, by the letter of the law, if we're talking about law and what's right, if the referee plays the advantage of what Martinelli done, which he would have been getting unsporting behavior, yellow card. If the offense was interfering or stopping a promising attack, the player is not to be cautioned. That's on the advantage rule. So, like I said, he done what he done on the sideline. I think he was a bit upset because he never got the foul.
Well, it should have been a foul, by the way. He was fouled.
And then he tries to stop the throw-in, which was unsportsmanlike conduct. So why didn't he blow his whistle and book him there?
Yeah, 100%. That's what he should have done.
Fair enough. He should have stopped the game and booked him there.
And I think the reason he hasn't is because he's played on, Casey. He's allowed Wolves to play on.
Yeah, but that is the problem, Potsy. That's it. So if he's going to play on, the player doesn't know he's got a yellow card. And by the letter of the law, he cannot give an unsportsmanlike conduct yellow. I granted he couldn't wait to give the red card, and I accept it's a red card. I accepted it yesterday. I accepted it. But I always wanted to go and check on, let me see what's going on in the advantage rule.
Yeah, and I hadn't done that. I hadn't looked at the rules and all that.
So I just looked at the rule and I thought, all right, he's done that. I wonder if Arsenal could appeal it, because would that be fair? Can't appeal
yellow cards, 2 yellows though. That's the problem, isn't it?
Yeah, 2 yellows, because he shouldn't have, he didn't even know he was getting booked. Because really the referee should have stopped the game and booked him. But look, at the end of the day, our disciplinary record has been atrocious. It has been atrocious.
Yeah, it needs addressing.
Gabriel's been sent off. Xhaka has been sent off. Partey's been sent off. Now Martinelli's been sent off in a matter of a few games.
Can't write it, can you? It's unbelievable.
Trust me. The manager will be talking to the players. I can guarantee you he will. Because all that does is bring heat on him and the club.
And
but do you know what, Dan? Do you know what? This is what I've got to say. When you cross that white line, the manager, he's got no influence on what you do. He doesn't have any influence. If Granit Xhaka gets sent off for stupid stuff, and he comes out after and says, I will keep doing it. I'm the same player. What chance have you got?
But the problem is, what I will say to that though, Casey, is that Arteta needs to, when their players aren't over the white line, he needs to be dragging them in and saying, look, we cannot, please finish the game with 11 men. Please, I beg you, just for one game this new year, please stay on the pitch, stop your nonsense. Because no matter about the rule book, forget the rules. Martinelli has made 2 silly errors there. Whether you think they're 2 yellows or they're not 2, he doesn't need to do that, and he doesn't need to go and take one for the team there. So for me, there is still bad discipline from Martinelli.
I agree with that.
But it is still poor from him.
I agree with that, but I'm going to go down a different route now on this, right? Because I reckon, and there'll be some bods come out and do it and all that, like, I reckon there's been at least 50, 60, 70 of those incidents in the Premier League all over the years, right? And every single time, they've just been booked once. Every single time. I've never, ever known it in watching football.
My life.
Playing
my
football,
lifetime.
Any time that has ever happened when you're getting a yellow card there and a yellow card there. I've probably played in games when the referee's gone like yellow card for that one. I've never ever seen it. Funny how I have seen it now. You know what I mean? Like he. I'll tell you what. I was coming home on the way home, and they had Keith Hackett on Talk Sport. He was listening on the way home, and he said it is exactly how it was. Game management. He knew exactly what he was doing there. It was a headline, yet double yellow card sending off. Everybody's going to be talking about Oliver. I'll tell you what. I bet he's got a sore willy today, or watching his and all that on the telly. Like, you know what I mean? Like, he's been doing Rogering all day over it, like, you know what I mean? Like, I'm serious, like, you know what I mean? Like, I am serious.
I know you seriously. That's why I'm laughing.
And this is what I'm saying. He could not wait to do that yesterday. He could not wait to do it. And the thing is, and I look at it, right? Somebody said to me today, I didn't book that fella in the first couple of minutes because it was the first couple of minutes. And when Martinelli went through, he brought him down. The definite penalty booking, nothing. I'll let you off that one. So he's used common sense with the Wolves player, and I get that. Fine. I ain't got a problem with it. So use common sense with it there, but he didn't want to because he knew it was a headline thing. I even look back at the one with Xhaka at Liverpool, right? There was no thought process. Was there a player coming round the corner or whatever? What do you think it was set? Straight away red. Couldn't even wait to get it out. There was no thought process or whatever, right? And then I watch other games and you see a little bit of hesitance and all that. Like, now, for me, at the end of it, right, what I'm saying is I do see what you're saying. It's 2 yellow cards and you think like, all right, okay. But I've never, ever seen it before. I'll never, ever see it again. 5 years ago, Crystal Palace playing Arsenal, player goes past Xhaka, he pulls him down, gets sent off for it because he's no intentions of going to ball. I've seen that 5, 10, 15 times since. No one has ever been sent off for it again. And I guarantee you, no one will ever get sent off for it again. Right? I'll tell you that now because it's never happened before. Now, I get what you're saying about the Zaha one and all that, but when you know you've been booked, you don't go and stand in front of the ball.
And I did say that. That is different. That is the difference there. That is the difference there.
And listen, I've had a couple of bookings, quick succession bookings, and been sent off. You know what I mean? Like, that does happen. But I've never, ever seen that in my life. And I've watched a lot of football, played a lot of football, and I can tell you what, when you've got every pundit, professional footballer, Kevin, whatever, like, saying exactly the same, they know that would never happen again. Now, I don't, you know, at the end of it, like, you know, realistically, what he should have done was he should have said to him, yellow card there. And really, in a sense, we said, I could have given you another one there.
Yeah, you better watch yourself.
One more little thing that you do wrong, you're off.
Yeah.
That's what should have happened. That's what should have happened.
Sophie is making some points in the chat. She's disagreeing with what you're saying.
Bring it up. Let's see.
She's saying get on with it, basically. 16 cup finals left. But before, she was saying something or other about every team will feel they'll be shafted by the refs. Arsenal always moan when it doesn't go their way. I think she's right. One. I think every
I'll go along with that.
Like
no one's arguing with that, Dan. I'm not arguing about that. Man United will say that they've been a bit harsh with a few things. What we're saying is, I have never seen anything happen with any other thing. I'm not saying that it was harsh, that some of these sending off we had, like Gabriel. I'm not moaning about it. That one there, yes, but I've watched a load of football, and I'm sure in the next couple of days someone will put it on Twitter, going, well, why wasn't this and that, like, you know. And I guarantee you think someone like Vinnie Jones hasn't got done that in a couple of times? Guarantee that.
He's got to murder Vinnie Jones.
Yeah, and then make sure they do another one. I'm
By the way, there was one this season. Harry Kane's tackle. You remember Harry Kane's tackle? On Robertson.
Yeah.
So what about that?
Mane with the old elbow.
Did Harry Kane? Did he get booked?
Yeah.
A yellow. That was a straight red.
And then Robertson got sent off.
Robertson got sent off, and rightly so, because he cleaned that at Royale or whatever. But all we're saying is we want some parity. If you're consistent, some parity. If you're gonna referee a certain way, do it for both teams.
Look at I'll go back. I know you think you're silly, like this ref is. There's something about this ref, right? Yeah, okay. So you're saying there's no doubt about that, boss, right? Yeah. What about when Aubameyang went through at Leicester? Who was refereeing that day? Who was refereeing and come out with a yellow card?
Yellow.
Right? Yellow card. Mr. Oliver. Like, you know what I mean? When it was a red card. But I'll get out a yellow. You know what I mean? Like,
I use common sense.
I use common sense. But when it's Arsenal, I won't use common sense. You know what I mean? Like, so listen, I think, and I'm going to say this, you know what I mean, about Mikel. I thought he come out and said it fantastically well. He even said, 18 years I've been playing football and whatever. It's never happened like. And it's true. I've never seen it, and I guarantee you, Dan, you'll never see it again. You're very, very fortunate at your tender age that you've seen that, because in all the years that me and Kevin have been watching and playing football, we've never seen it.
Yeah.
Well, let's talk about let's move on from that, and let's talk about something which is more of a concern, and that's our ill discipline. Let's finish the show on this, because there is a problem for me. You know, Kev said it.
Yep.
We've got more red cards than goals in 2022. Someone's put in the chat.
More red cards than you're going to get Valentine's Day, boy. I'll tell you that now. Right?
That's definitely a given.
You ain't getting no 5.
So let's do this. I apologize in advance to James and Graham, but I watched their breakdown today and I've nicked something from it because it was absolutely spot on for me. And big up James, because his stats, and Graham as well. Their stats are outstanding. I must say that is a great show on AFTV.
Good lads, good lads, good guys,
really good lads, right? 15 red cards. Okay, I'm going to read them out to you. And what I want you to do is think in your heads, chat, you Kev, you Lee, which of these could have been avoided by players giving away needless yellow cards and fouls, right? So I'm going to get 1 to 15. I'll go through them really quickly. You'll definitely remember the majority of them, right? The first red card in Arteta's Arsenal management reign was Aubameyang versus Palace with his studs at Palace. Number 2 was David Luiz's pulling the box versus Chelsea. David Luiz yet again, same thing, pulling the box against Man City, red card. Eddie Nketiah with his studs in at Leicester at the Emirates, red card. Pepe's headbutt at Leeds. Xhaka versus Burnley. Gabriel versus Southampton, 2 yellow cards. Sorry, the Xhaka one was where he grabbed him at the throat at the Emirates. I know there's so many you get sent off with.
Yeah.
David Luiz versus Wolves. Ridiculous for me, but tripped in the box, right? Leno versus Wolves comes rushing outside of his box and handballs it, gets a red card. Dani Ceballos against Villarreal, 2 yellow cards. Granit Xhaka versus City at the Etihad this season, goes in with 2 foot, red card. Gabriel versus Man City only the other week, New Year's Day, 2 yellow cards. Xhaka versus Liverpool, Bruce Lee style into Jota's chest. Partey versus Liverpool comes on for 2 minutes and gets sent off with 2 yellow cards. And Martinelli last night. Now, I've counted them up, guys, and I want to see if you agree with them, right? The only 3 I see as a bit unlucky, we've seen it, it just happens, are Aubameyang versus Palace with his studs.
Yep.
And Nketiah versus Leicester with his studs. And the other one was David Luiz against Wolves.
Yeah.
Right?
The others are all avoidable.
Those others are all avoidable. So we're saying out of the 15 red cards, the players, of 12 of them, have all made ridiculous decisions on the pitch. So something that I would like to ask you guys is, who is to blame there? Is it one individual? Is it the majority of the team? Is it the players themselves? And if it is the players themselves, players themselves.
Leno's one is unfortunate, but he shouldn't be running out of his box. He hasn't done it deliberately, but he shouldn't be doing it. It's decision making. I'm with you on that. Some of them are pathetic.
So what happens now then? The players just keep doing it, or do the manager need to get them in and say, "We need to do something"? What are you not listening to me about? What is happening here?
But Dan, I can guarantee you, Dan, he has done that. Do you reckon he wants to play?
Are they not listening to him then?
Well, let's put it this way. Obviously, they're not, because it's still going on. Right? It's still happening. There's no manager that wants to be playing games with less players on the pitch than the opposition. None.
Absolutely.
So he is going to be reading them the right act and say, listen, guys, we need to keep our heads out there when we're in the heat of the battle, because that's when it tends to happen. When you're in the heat of the battle, one gets held round the throat, one throws a nut. I mean, this is schoolboy. This is crazy stuff.
And do you know what, Casey? Just on that point, because I made a big mistake a few weeks ago. I said, "Oh, that's what you get with a young team." I've just gone through the players. There's only Eddie Nketiah and Martinelli that are under the age of 26. It's all the senior heads doing it.
Exactly.
So it can't be that either. So it's a madness.
Well, Gabriel isn't 26, is he? Gabriel's younger than that.
Sorry, Gabriel.
Yeah.
I miss Gabriel, but yeah.
Right.
You get what I mean? He's 24.
Yeah,
you
it's
know
the experience, boys. I mean, listen, you mentioned Granit Xhaka a few times in there, right? And I'm not just going to zero in on Granit Xhaka because Pepe's one. He should never do that. Fair enough.
David Luiz done it twice.
David Luiz done it twice. He's got the pull in the bag.
Yeah,
definitely. He's got
ridiculous.
That. He's not at the club anymore. I get that, but we're still erring as a team. We're still erring as players. Now, here is the thing where the accountability is going to start coming in, guys. Because let me tell you this: we want to get up there. We won't get there if we're going to be playing games 10v11. Because that is going to catch up with us. Because you're going to need 11 players on the pitch to win some of these games.
Well, I'm a nice guy. Charmer.
If we don't have discipline, it's never going to happen for us. So it's either the players listen, toe the line, and in the heat of battle, they can take a deep breath, or you're going to have to change them. It's that simple, Dan. Because let me tell you, you look at any of the top teams, they could survive with 10 men once in a while, but very rarely do they go down to 10 men. Very rare. Very rare.
Yeah, I totally agree. Listen, we've got to sort it out, and eventually, you know, if you're going to continue to do it, then listen. The problem you have at the moment also is that, say, if you're at a top team, you get sent off and get 3 games. The chances are you're not going to get back in the team. Yeah. You know, like, so there was always that worry of, I ain't going to get back in the team if you're banned. You know, so at this moment in time, Granit Xhaka's done it on 3 occasions, and he's got straight back into the team. So that tells you that the squad's not good enough at this moment in time, because like he's coming straight back in. So that's a deterrent. I can tell you that now. I've played in teams. Kevin probably played in the teams when you think, oh, I better not get suspended because I ain't getting back into this team. You know, so that can happen. So, but at this moment in time, that's one thing to look at. And if it continues, so I feel that Mikel's got a responsibility there to strengthen the squad to make sure that doesn't happen. And then I also think that accountability for players becomes into it. Like, you know, I listen, if a player's going through in the last minute and Xhaka or Gabriel take him out and take one for the team, fine. Not a problem with that. Like, it's the petulant ones that are getting this out. I ain't got a problem with Martinelli's one yesterday. I don't think he should have been sent off, if I'll be honest. And that is it there. If I look back at the Gabriel one, yeah, you know, in the letter of the law he's going. But there are times when the letter of the law is being applied to us and not other teams. Like, you know, as we've said, I've seen players. I've even seen the commentator. If he wasn't on a yellow card, they would have definitely given him one there. And with us, it's bosh, it's straight out. So when you know that the referee, like for me, like Kevin will tell you this, I've played with it well. You know, some referees are not quite, you know, they've got it in for you, don't like you, got that thing. Anything you do to get, so you know you have to play your game.
The line. You got to toe the line.
Yeah, so you know Oliver's on there. Don't give him the excuse or the opportunity to send you off. Like, you know, and my manager once said that to me, like, you know, you give him the opportunity and he took it. You know what I mean? Like, so whose fault is it? It's mine, isn't it? As a player, and it's the player's fault. So they're going to have to learn and make sure they do. And if they don't, then they've got to go, because at the end of it, even Vieira, like, if you go back to that, the greatest midfield player ever played for Arsenal, he got petulant red cards early on in his career. But then there was a cut-off point when he never got no more cards or whatever. It wasn't like the petulant ones.
And these
he matured.
He matured. He matured
Yeah.
and realised that, that he hasn't got. Now, Roy Keane, for instance, never did. Roy Keane had to play with that bit of devil in him. Otherwise, he wouldn't get the same game. So Alex Ferguson used to let that go. But that's all right if you've got one player. You can't have 3 or 4. If you have a look at it, you've got Xhaka, Gabriel, Louise, like between them, there's 3 or 4, 5 of them.
They ain't matured, that's for sure, like Vieira did. But also, listen, I love a bit of passion. I speak to my dad about it, and he said, I do like the passion now, and the fact they go in. I like that, but they've got to find the balance between not going over the top to get that lead. And that's something we've got to learn. Like you say, Kev, we've got to learn.
Dan, I think if it's for a tackle, if it's for a football move and you're going in for a tackle and you mistime the tackle, like Thomas Partey. Thomas Partey was silly, but it was for a tackle. It's a football move.
He's gone for the ball. He's gone for it.
He's gone for the ball, but he was late. So you get that, right? Fair enough. But when it's for Xhaka's tackle at Manchester City, and then against Burnley was grabbing somebody by the neck, and another one where he's pulling somebody back. It's madness.
Yeah, it is.
How many times you get sent off?
Sorry?
How many times you get sent off?
In my career?
Yeah.
Never.
No. So
you are no good to your team, walking down the tunnel. You are no good.
And that's where it comes to it, isn't it? Like, what I'm saying is because like Kevin can handle himself on a pitch and all that, but he didn't. Didn't because this is where I'm saying petulance comes in. Some of these guys in here, like they can't have a fight, you know what I mean? But so they're on the pitch and they give it the big one on the pitch and the pushing the shot like Pepe and people like that. Well, when it comes down to it, they're not really. That's what I'm saying. That's the sort of stuff that it's got. You've got the petulant side of it has got to come out of the game for us. You know what I mean? Like I don't mind players going through on a tackle and things like that. Gabriel, for instance, against Man City, the tackle, all right, but the petulance is the kicking of the spot or arguing. You know what I mean? Like, I've got loads of bookings. I'll be honest for back chat. You know what I mean? Like,
I think we all did when we were a bit younger.
But they're wrong, aren't they? You know what I mean? Like,
But we're talking about let's be honest, Lee. Yeah, we're talking about the pro game here, and there's a lot riding on it.
Yeah.
For Arsenal, there is a lot riding on it. I can't. Do you know what? If I'm honest, when I heard Granit Xhaka come out and said, "I'm not going to change my game. I play this way," I said to myself, "I don't want him at the club, and I don't want him at the club even more so now because the next time he's an incident and he gets sent off, what good is he to us?"
And you know what, Kev? People are looking up to this guy as our leader. No, thank you. Just get guy. Hopefully he goes in the summer.
It's frustrating.
Let's ask this before we close because we have run over a bit tonight, but there's a lot to talk about. I just want to ask this. Lee, I'll start with you. Has this changed your opinions on Arsenal's top 4 chances at all? Or is there still a lot to play?
No, and I can tell you why. You might think I'm stupid when I say this. If Arsenal would have lost yesterday, I don't think they'd have got top 4. All right, winning yesterday doesn't mean that we're going to get it neither. Like at this moment in time, because I've seen in the past an Everton result or a performance like I see at Nottingham Forest. So what we've got to do now, that's a good basis first game. I don't think it affects our top 4 anyway. If we'd have lost last night, and you might think I'm being over dramatic, I think it would have been the end of it. I don't think that we are.
Just confidence-wise.
Yeah, confidence-wise and everything like that. Because what would have happened if we'd have lost this game yesterday, the teams would have gone up, like Manchester United and playing Southampton. The chances are that they should win that one. Tottenham beat Wolves. There'd have been 6 points in front of us or whatever, but they're not. You know what I mean? So whatever happens now, we're tidily out. And guys, when they look at it tomorrow, we'll be after the weekend. We'll be one game, our game in hand, right? And you think, that game in hand is Chelsea away. So, it's not like, we get 3 points here. It's Chelsea away. So it's going to be a tough ask. So that was why it's very, very important we won that game. I don't think it changes our top 4 chances. What it does tell me, though, is with this defence, and if we can just get it right up top, we're in the battle. We're in the race for it. Whether we get it or not, I don't know. But that win yesterday keeps us we're still
On
we're still
track.
on the track. We're
Keeps
still on the
us
track.
Yeah, keeps us
Kev?
on track. Yeah, listen, I think to myself, it's about time we had a department of our team that we could rely on. We're going to have to lean heavily on our back five, our goalkeeper and our back four. We're gonna have to, because you know what? We are not, as an attacking force, we are not quite there yet.
Yeah.
So what we're gonna have to do, we're gonna have to keep things tight. We're gonna have to get as many clean sheets as we can, and wherever we can nick a goal here or there, we nick a goal. I'll take a few more 1-0 to the Arsenal. Thank you very much, if you don't mind. I'll take some more of them.
We'll all
And
take
you know
them.
what? Let's just keep racking them up. Let's keep doing it. But I think our defense is going to be key. If we could get one of the boys up top going in the goals, I think then we stand an even better chance. But it just keeps us on track, Dan.
Yeah, absolutely. I haven't changed my mind, and unfortunately, as much as I'd love to say that I have changed my mind and we're going to get top four because I'd love to see it. Unfortunately, I've seen it already this season that wherever we get a win like this, there's a loss somewhere on the horizon to mess things up for us again. But I love the fact that we got that result last night. It was great to see a hard fought out win, and it's kind of rolled back the years, so to speak, with some of the. And the Anfield one as well, the 0-0 there with 10 men. It kind of rolled back the years to what we were seeing with the George Graham days of defending, and I love to see it. So let's hope for some more 1-0s, like you say, KC.
Lovely journey home when you win as well. So lovely journey home.
Isn't it just a lot better, a lot easier journey? I tell you that, Lee. Kev, thanks so much for coming on, mate. Always a pleasure having you,
Dan.
mate.
Thank you very much, guys. Cheers.
Cheers, Kev.
Thank you, mate. And thank you, Lee. And thank you to everybody in the chat tonight. A little bit of different software for us, but we got through it in the end. But thank you all so much for joining us. We had well over 500, I think, at one stage.
Oh, did you know that? Because I hadn't got a clue, because nothing's come up on my screen.
I only know that because someone in the chat spoke about it. So
I knew on the last when we were on StreamYard. Just saying, Dave.
Just saying, Dave. Thank you all for that. And if you can smash the like button and subscribe button on your way out, that would be amazing. We're going to do a show probably on the Sunday evening, myself and Lee, and we're probably going to be with Sophie, Harry and Tom to talk a little bit about a couple of topics of the Arsenal. So we will see you then. Until then.
Give it a plug. Give the Brentford one a plug. Give the Brentford one a plug. Got a special guest coming on.
Oh, we have got a special guest actually on Thursday night. Me, Kev, and Lee will be doing the preview, chatting with Campbell. We have a Sire Ranking coming on who's going to be talking about Arsenal Brentford. So Izzy will be with us. So that will be a good show. So please do not miss that one. You know him well, Kev?
Yeah, know him well. We used to. Izzy was he was one of the boot boys. He used to be in the youth team when I was first team, so they used to do obviously clean the boots and do all that. So nice lad.
Let's see if you tipped him.
No, he wasn't my boot boy. So I won't tip. You ask him who were the best tippers.
We will do. We'll ask him. Ask him.
He would know.
Love it.
Who's the daddy?
Well, listen, we'll look forward to that one, man. That will be a great one. We'll look forward to that on Thursday with us three and Asar as well. So make sure you join in for that one, guys. Been a pleasure as always. Take care. Have a good evening, and up the Arsenal.